Hey people, Inquisitor here, 53 Faction War. This is Katrin Purification Plant and Imperial Guard versus Orks. For the Blue Guard team, the Tenso is a Lord Commissar. Strong offense and support fighting in melee begins with a refractor shield, can shoot his own fellas in the head. Armageddon Steel Legion elite scheme here. Alongside, Katla with a Lord General fighting in ranged combat, begins with the retinue of Stormtroopers, really strong defense and support, can also add to the retinue. More Armageddon Steel Legion here, I guess. Is it triple? ShaFex with an Inquisitor, offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee but can get specialized ranged weapons. And we've got some Cadians around here. Red Orks, Norni with a Warboss, a melee hero walking through objects with offense, disruption and support in the front lines. Alongside, Gatts with a Kommando Knob, infiltrating hero that shoots you, stabs you and blows you up. Orky style, begins with a twin link shooter, Death Skull's elite scheme here. Rounding off the teams, Funny Man to you as a Mekboy, teleporting hero fighting in ranged combat, puts us good damage, has a bunch of Orky gadgets, can also repair, but Sluggers chasing down a Sentinel. This is the east side against the Tenso's Lord Commissar. Sentinel getting very low, does not have the stomp, it's on the way and it might be needed. Oh, it goes down. I think it was actually one of the Sluggers firing their Slugger sidearm that actually took it down. That's a big blow for the Tenso. Not only was the Sentinel down, but he just got the upgrade for it. West side has turned red for the Orks. They're trying to power through the mid a bit, I think. This is the Sentinel of Katla. ShaFex did not get one. I wonder if the Tenso will replace. Either that or a heavy weapons squad or catechins, I guess. Maybe they'll just go double catechins now. There's a stun bomb. Stuns those guardsmen and they promptly flee. I think the Kommando is trying to tie stuff up in melee. That's why he's running forward like that. Yep, goes into the guard and instantly headbutts one of the guardsmen. Which I assume would have just killed him in real life. Helmet or not. Orks start to decap these forward points, get a decap on the VP. This is the Tenso helping out here with some lasgun fighters. Sentinel's getting very low. Katla's gets away though. These guys bashing power with their big shooters. And on the western edge, some sneaky Sluggers try to get around, I guess. Maybe they were trying to go for this wreck point here. Orks bashing the central contested power. And look at this. Funny Man to you, able to completely decap the natural power in the northeast. The Tenso couldn't really hold it without a Sentinel up. Does have Catechin Devils now though. Very versatile infantry that can counter melee and disrupt from long range, even support with a smoke grenade. West side, Hammer of the Witches on the Warboss's face. Some Daka from the flank though. On the heavy weapons squad, you consider firing up. It's not covering those fellas. And they've got big shooters rattling off shots. Gonna die. I think they're gonna go down. A little bit sloppy there from ShaFex. The heavy weapons squad falls. Now they get some catechins immediately. Inquisitor's gonna have to flee soon, I think. Yeah, this big shooter's really doing some work on double shooter boys here. The second squad just got them. Norni does have 3 total. Here's the third one here. All 3 with big shooters now. It's a ton of Daka. 375 to 497. I don't think the guard have taken the west side yet. On the east side, the Tenso making progress down the map with catechins in tow. Lord Commissar, no war gear yet. Do we see any on anyone else? Lord General's been shot to pieces. Loses a Stormtrooper buddy. Can reinforce them in the field, but a 25 wreck. Gonna have to flee. Trying to defend the power here. Super aggressive start from the Orks. Kommando chucks in the stun bomb. It stuns one single fella, which messes up the coherency of his squad a bit. Got Knob Leader on these shooter boys of Gatts. Just a big shooter on the other fellas though. Kommando flees. Some stick bombs on that guy might do some work. And special shooter in tier 2. Inquisitor, Hammer of the Witches has been saved for the Warboss so far, which is pretty smart usage of it, I think. But he did make it into those guardsmen. Inquisitor gets rid of some shooter boys. Good stomp from the Sentinel. Had to risk a bit to get that done. Well-timed little push there from Katla. I think it's going to be alright. Sluggers with burners up here for Norni. Forcing off the second heavy weapon squad for ShaFex coming in, getting caught immediately by these buffed up sluggers thanks to the burners. More health and stuff. East side, there's a war banner. Lord Commissar trying to tie up. Shooter Boys almost gets this squad down actually. Can they do it with the bolt pistol? Or the auto pistol, whatever it is, they can. I think it's an auto pistol on this guy, yeah. It's too small to be a bolt pistol. It slaps though, this thing. It's like 16 DPS or something. Really painful. It's more than a tactical marine. West side. We have it finally. Maybe turning blue. I mean, it's going to be decapped at least. Maybe get the Commissar shield up. Lord General over there. To help him against all that Daka he's facing. Oh, Sluggers are going to wipe. Sluggers do wipe. So the Orks facing some losses at the end of Tier 2. They haven't had it all their own way. Funnyman 2U down to one squad now on the east side. Has a Death Dread on the way though. Shooter Boys flee. All of them. Warboss gets away. He's got spiky armor. More for the health regen, I think, rather than the damage on hit. Not a lot's going to be hitting him here. And a boss pole to keep his boys in line. More sluggers on the way for Norni to replace those he lost. Gatts is floating 1400 requisition almost and hasn't gone tier 2 yet. They're concentrating on this little push here. Trying to break out a base. They might be able to sweep all the way through onto the natural VP actually. Guard, when one unit breaks, they tend to completely capitulate because an individual guardsman squad isn't going to be able to stick around by itself. So once you break one, it tends to cascade them in a 3v3 and you can sweep through and get their points. These Cadian Catechans, not sure how that works, but hey. They've got their helmets on, no bandanas. Buffed up Catechans here. They were... Oh, one of them has executed, I guess he wasn't doing his job. Get those shotguns firing. Double Catechans it was indeed for the Tenso. But now they're fighting a Death Dread. Not going to work out too great. Not tier 2 yet, so they can't have their Sarge with the melter gun. Burners and bits already up on the Death Dread. Sometimes units feel a little bit, there we go, a little bit inconsistent about when they're going to fire their ranged weapon when they're chasing stuff. Those burners took a while to kick in. I don't know if it's like a range thing or some kind of internal cooldown I don't know about, but sometimes you'll see a unit, especially the Chaos Lord, I think, like chase around for ages and not fire his weapon, which is kind of painful when you've invested in his combi flamer. Warboss must flee. You have a Bane Wolf up for ShaFex. This is unique to the Inquisitor. Has that awesome chem cannon on top to just like dissolve generators, and infantry alike can also debuff and slow down infantry. What is this? It was the Commissar trying to get through onto the VP there. Death Dread says no. Got some double tank busters now for Funnyman 2U. They seem convinced that there's going to be a Chimera or something from the Tenso. Katla's got the Primaris Psyker. That could help a lot. Especially if they get Oberins up, they could help in the big melee fights with the telekinetic dome thing. But just their basic attack is great, and there's that ethereal wave. That was painful. Great tool to have when sluggers are running at your guys. Just use that wave. It's like a merciless strike you can just put anywhere. Well, it's more like warp fire from the sorcerer, I suppose. I wonder if it's literally exactly the same, just with a different visual effect. I'm sure they heavily based it on it. Lord Commissar now has a Xenos Power Claw, 85 thereabouts, heavy melee, and carapace armor. Does it make his pistol even better? Almost 18 DPS, seriously? Or is his pistol always 17.85? That's a hell of a pistol. Death Dread being chased down now. Melter up on the Catechans. Here's a Missile Sentinel and that Power Claw weighing in. They should be able to get it here. Oh, Melter Gun, Lord General 2. Yeah, down goes the Death Tread. Funny Man 2 might be in a bit of trouble here. He's heavily invested in tank busters. Doesn't really have a whole lot to do with them. I don't think the Bane Wolf is going to come over here. Oh, there it comes. Here's the Bane Wolf. As soon as I said that, the Bane Wolf shows up. Taking rear armor hits. They might get it. They do get it. Down goes the Bane Wolf. Well, I mean, they did something. These are actually Gatts tank busters. East side being pushed quite hard. Can they get the power, though? Sentinel is taking some hits from those missiles. Got Melter Stormtroopers as well. The Guardsmen went all in on the Melters, eh? Big Foot of Gork. That's a painful thing. That's from the Weird Boy of Gatts. Gatts still floating huge amounts of requisition. Now got some stick bombers on the way. Feel like it's been a while since I've been stick bombers on the field, chucking stuff, having a good time. Can get a decap on the power maybe. Sentinel's sure getting far forward here. Seems confident they can deal with it. Katla's Sentinel now level 2. West side turning red for the Orks. They've fallen off their momentum a bit here in tier 2. Mostly because of Funny Man 2's losses in tier 1, I think. Death Dread would have been a better move if you had an army to support it. Generally, you don't want just one unit and a walker out. I mean, the tank busters followed, but I guess they can disrupt and stuff. Commando Knob does indeed have the Orky shotgun, the special shooter, with high explosive shells and a passive chance of knockback. 30%, yeah, 30% it tells on the tooltip there. Big War, all buffed by the boss pole. And we do have the Commissar retinue fella in the Lord General's retinue, so he can use the nifty shield he's got. So 55% range damage reduction, I think. Down goes the Inquisitor on the power. Not sure if the Inquisitor's going to get revived. Katla now gets the Medical Sergeant with the chainsaw there to hand out medical packs. Primaris Psyker has Diviner's Foresight. More damage from the basic attack. And gives you the ability to switch between using health or energy for powering the abilities, which is cool. Because some of them are channeled, I think. Strip Soul is channeled, I believe. East side. Lord Commissar just walks through some Orky rockets because he doesn't care. Stormtroopers ready to roll. Maybe get a bash on the power. There's only a node there. Perhaps the Tenso should be transitioning to the mid a bit more. Rotate mid. And push. Oh, they're getting flanked by Gatts now. This could be nasty. Are the stick bombers up? Where are they? Oh, they're right there, dumbass. Getting flanked when there's stick bombers around can be especially nasty because they could time the throw on retreating units. Guardsmen push through the west side and get it back pretty easily, I think. Okay, the Sentinel leading the line there. Gatts seems a little bit torn about where they want to go. The Tenso hitting back with the double catechins. They're backing off. And here's support from ShaFex. Great play from ShaFex. Got onto the west. And immediately rotates mid and hits the power at the same time. Oh, this is Katla hitting the power. Inquisitor's back up. Are they going to die? I think they're okay. Katla getting revived there. Now has a full retinue. I was giving ShaFex a little bit too much credit there. I just saw the power being bashed on the map. Did not realise it was Katla here doing it. But ShaFex was still on their bike here to support it and finishes the bash actually. And now gets some plasma shots and pathogens going on the shooter boys. What do those stormtroopers have? They're assault kit stormtroopers, and now they might get flanked by Gatts. There's the telekinetic dome, which I thought, oh, it gives you damage resistance, but I thought it was only melee damage resistance. I need to look up what that ability actually does again. Weird Boy getting some really good shots in. And there's the stick bombs. They toss 2 lots of them, so it always seems like a lot. Slugger's getting ripped apart though with user choppers on them. Nornis, they do get away. And they don't need to rebuy the knob leader either. 242 to 359. Primaris Psyche gets away. almost level 2. And ShaFex got a decap there. That was a good push from the guard. But they did capitulate a bit and have to back off. Although, still got a full guardsman squad in play here. ShaFex. I don't think the Sentinel wants to stick around, but maybe the guardsman can get into some cover and trade with the shooter boys a bit. Creeping Barrage gets them off the cap. Here comes the Inquisitor. Creeping Barrage is a global of the Lord General. And there's tier 3s all around for the guardsmen. What's going on east side? Tenso's push through again. How many times has Tenso bashed his power? Left one gen standing, but still a good push. Stormtroopers are melters. What level is this Commissar now? Level 3 with stubbornness. Level 5 Lord General replacing the Sergeant. And a level 2 Inquisitor. Level 3 Warboss. Level 2 Kommando. Warboss is pissed at his Inquisitor, who keeps using Hammer of the Witches on his face. Mekboy's level 2 and down. Should get revived though. In fact, I think they're getting revived right now by Gatts. Gatts goes tier 3. Got double stick bombs up. Yes, and indeed they did just revive the Mekboy. Level 3 Kommando now. 2-3-1 to 3-2-3. Seem to be growing in power and confidence, the guard team. Ever since tier 2, ever since that death tread fell, basically. Big old retreat. They could get through onto the VP. Looks like they're going for it. East side. Big warp vomit from Funnyman 2U's weird boy. Needs to be careful though. Your shotgun blast and melter guns and stuff does get away. Mekboy's here with battery pack and a custom force field. And goes into melee. Oh, there we go. To pop that. Power's going to get bashed again though. But Commissar is mainly just being annoyed by the Mekboy here. It's pretty effective. Pretty effective annoyance. Gonna melee me, I'm going to knock you around. 2-1-3 to 3-1-3. Big hit from the weird boy there. Throws in the zap. Which is maybe going to jump to those guardsmen. No, it wears out. Didn't jump to anything. West side kicking off. Kommando levels to... Oh, it's already 3, wasn't it? We just saw the level up graphic there. Knocking stuff over with his shotgun. And exploding it into little bits. Looks like the Orks are going to brute force their way onto this VP. Some guardsmen just wiped there, I think. Or ShaFex, maybe? Yeah, it was Cadian fellas. Warboss not messing around anymore. Gets the power claw, gets the kill on the Inquisitor. That must have been very, very satisfying for the big fella. Demon Russ is up now. Are we going to see Rocket Launcher Kommando then? To help combat the guard armor. Going for Executioner here. More of a short range, rapid firing anti-infantry weapon. It's a plasma cannon on crack basically. There we go. Deals area of effect damage, but still pretty damn effective against single entities, I think. Just a sheer DPS. Couldn't get on the power. Maybe they should have tried to stabilize a bit more there. The Orks, rather than push all the way through. They just got the VP back. Oh no, the tank drove through its own bunker there, I think. Katla suggesting they don't want to get tanks versus all these tank busters and stick bombers and the Kommando and stuff, and they're going for Ogrins instead. Finally, we might see Ogrins supported by a Primaris Psyker. I don't think it's been in a game yet that I've casted. 202 to 273. Mekboy falls over thanks to Power Claw. There's a warp vomit into rocks. Can't run away when you're on the floor. Nicely done. I assume it was Funnyman's nuke as well. It was certainly their weird boy. Yeah, must have been. Look at the red. I mean, did some damage, but I don't think wiped anything on Tenso there. And they're going to reinforce so cheaply and so quickly. Hard to say if that was worth it or not. Lord General just got an army onto himself here with his retinue, fellas. Both the Psychers having a fight. Weird Boy runs away. Does have the warpath for Gatts. And Gatts has commandos. So does Funny Man. Very versatile tier 3 squad. Can combat infantry, vehicles, can disrupt. Cap quickly. Pretty awesome orky fellas. And these guys now have their knob leader, who gets that rocket launcher. Other fellas with shooters. Lord Commissar levels to 5. West side turning red for the Orks. There is now a bunker up. I'm not sure if it's been upgraded yet. I don't think it has. That repair is coming from the guardsmen. There's Love the Dapper from the commandos. Fantastic disruption. And then some suppression from the shooter boys. Strangely, no burner bomb was thrown in there. I didn't have enough energy to throw it in. Stick bombs coming in. Mines dropped in. Big flank from Katla. And the Tenso. Look at that, with Bullgrins leading the charge. That's awesome. There's Use Your Shield. Look at the AoE suppression. That is awesome. Stubbornness keeping the Lord Commissar nice and healed up. What an awesome push from the Imperial Guard there. They're taking the VP back. That was a sight. Bullgrins are the tier 3 upgrade for Ogrins, limited to 1. Just makes them better all round. They do lose the disruption from Use Your Red, but Use Your Shield's pretty damn good too. Here's a Bane Blade from the Tenso. Getting a direct hit on the Weird Boy's stomach. But he took it. Needs to be careful though, can't take too many of those. He's off now. Tank Buster Barrage, that should do good damage if it hits. It does not hit. And there's the Demolisher Cannon coming in. Big old boom. And the Tenso returns. Yeah, the Tenso returns to get them the hell out of there. Got some flash kits now for Funny Man. Commandos are back at base. Did they already have flash kits? And I missed it? Perhaps. Primaris Psycho at level 2. Even Russ hasn't leveled. Oh, it looks like a medical bunker actually. To reinforce and heal infantry. Can the Orks crack this guard nut here? Heavy turret dropped in by Katla in the mid. Love the Daka. And a Rocks for the Bullgrins. Leman Russ is there as well. Might have been slightly wasted. I mean, you're not going to wipe the Bullgrins with it, so all you're doing is making them retreat. Is it worth it? Maybe they were trying to get the tank a bit more. There's Purgation. Level 3 Inquisitor here. With Inferno Pistol as well. 43 DPS Melter. Pretty impressive. Warboss trying to put pressure on the tank, but takes some big shots doing so. Can they get the finish? There's Hammer of the Witches. And then some melee. There we go. Warboss goes down. East side. Bane Blade is actually staying east for now. Expected it to rotate mid and hold position there. They're getting a decap on the Orks VP. Guardsmen in a pretty good spot, but there's a Knob Squad. Knob Squad can change a lot. This is from Gatts. They've got their huge hammers already. Knob Leader on the way. Don't have Meaner and Greenie yet, so they're getting it last, which is weird. Bane Blade getting a lot of repairs. That's a repair bunker, I think, down there. It's getting awfully close to the Knob Squad that's coming in. And they're hidden by the Commando's global ability, Hide the Boys. I think they've been spotted getting too close to the Commissar there. But I don't know if this Bane Blade is going to get away, you guys. It's taking Tank Buster shots as well. Or rather, Rocket Launcher Commando shots. But the knobs are on it now. It's not going to last long. With their U-jammers gaining momentum. Meaner and Green are now on the way. So there's one big threat down. They might need to avoid the west side because they seem to defend it pretty damn well so far. Tank Buster Barrage gets a few hits on the Leman Russ. Those commandos didn't want to trade with the guardsmen with the Inquisitor there as well. And some power bashing stormtroopers Thanks to ShaFex, another Lehman Russ on the way. First one's done well. Katla on the VP now. Where are those Bullgrims? They're awesome. They're striding through the mid. 159 to 155. Gonna be a double, maybe even a triple for the guard. They're still looking good. Bunkers torn apart. We'll see if Gatts can get through onto the central VP here. Scares off Tenso with some Love the Daka. Thanks to the commandos. That was Funny Man 2 used commandos. Not sure where Gatts are. Oh, Gatts just lost something. Something got exploded. Maybe they just threw their shooters away or something? Maybe it was there. Not sure. Gonna free up some upkeep to get tier 3 squads rolling out. Something Orks often do more than any other faction, I think. They want to clear up some of their tier 2, tier 1 units sometimes, shooter boys especially, and get some tier 3 stuff rolling a bit quicker. 159 to 90. Double cap for the guard. It's going to be very difficult for the Orks to come back here. There's a triple. And that might be it. We have a looted tank from Norni. I think maybe they wasted their rock slightly. But they also took heavy losses aside from that. So maybe it was just that. Funny Man 2, you did recover quite well. They haven't been able to maintain pressure, which is very difficult to do. But we've had some good scraps on the east side there. I think the guardsmen do have this with the triple cap. Orcs trying to push the mid, they're not giving up. Nob squad piling through. Get knocked over by their own weird boy, I think. As is often the case. And there's an Executioner. Executioner will do a lot of damage to a Nob squad, but it's also vulnerable to the massive hammers. Ogrins can protect it by suppressing them and keeping them suppressed maybe. Double cap, the Nob squad can't even push through. There's Judgment up on the Kommando. He'll be judged as Orky, I think. Foot of Gork at the end on some Cataclysms, but he's tanked it pretty damn well there. There's a GG, and there's the game. Oh, we're trying to decap. Can't quite get there in time. The Mekboy, I actually died at the end. From some Kasserkin Plasma. Let's look at these heroes. Level 6 Commissar. Had that early setback losing the Sentinel, but hit back pretty hard on the east side. Got a lot of power bashes. Hell of a lot. Katla's Lord General, level 8. Good stabilizers going. Level 5 Inquisitor was quite solid on the west side, I think. Some shrewd choices. Level 5 Warboss. Did the Sluggers survive? The Sluggers survived. The second Sluggers survived anyway. Gatts with a level 4 Kommando. And that rocket launcher. I would have liked to have seen stick bombers early on. I think that would have been fun. Would have been effective, I don't know. But fun. The Mekboy, level 3 and down. Looks like he's got a beamy death gun at the end. There you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Big thanks to these players for taking part in a faction war. Not sure who was running the lobby. I imagine it was Tenso or Katla. But I think it was the Tenso who sent it in. So thanks to those guys. And I'll see you next time.